and the crust is a bit, about 100 kilometers thick. And then when the crust, the tectonic plates, they move, you have earthquakes and you have the tsunamis, and my God, you have, people dying. All this, the formation of the solar system. Look at the dimensions. And then you have the Milky Way. And then the innumerable galaxies which are there in the universe spread out. I mean, it's mind-boggling. But I'm just trying to put a concept. There is a design. That particular design is something which is the area which we need to understand. So, these are the cosmological models, and you have the authorities for that. The inflationary model. You have what you call Friedman, Gamow, Edwin Hubble, Stephen Hawking, the steady state model. Jayant Narlikar was involved with the steady state model, evolved by Fred Hoyle, Herman Bondi, and Jayant Narlikar, steady state. You are aware of this. The new concept which is coming is the oscillating universe, and they are using the latest in string theory, dark energy, membranes. Abhi problem ye hai, 70%, 71% of the universe comprises of dark energy. 24% of the universe comprises of dark matter, and only 5% of the universe is the visible universe. My God, how do you explain dark energy? How do you explain dark matter? Difficult concepts. What I am trying to say, now the concepts are evolving and the science is also maturing, and they are trying to explore the deeper realms. But the oscillating universe theory has also been put forward. In fact, Turok and Steinert have also written a book on this particular concept. The Bhagavad Gita goes slightly in a different manner. You have the 4.32 billion years as the cosmic day. For an equal period, you have the cosmic night. So, cosmic day and cosmic night combined comes to 8.64 billion years. They say that the life of Brahma, one Brahma, is 100 years. So, it boils down to 3.11 trillion years. And then, that is what, look at it's something, which goes beyond our, but they say that this is endless. Brahmas will come and go, but the process will continue, right? But we are not interested in the process. Our interest is something else. The nature of the Jivatman, right? Now we are boiling down to that which is hidden inside us, the Jivatman. And that is what they say. The Jivatman is an eternal portion of myself, abiding in this material world of apara prakriti, and it draws to itself this entire complex of the body, the three bodies, right? So the Jivatman is at the core of our individual existence, right? And then it is while dwelling in the body and presiding over the senses that and enjoying all the objects, touch, taste, smell, mind, the Jivatman enjoys the sense objects. The ignorant do not know it, but it is the yogis who are able to realize, they are able to touch that base, and they are able to go to the core of the level, and that is what he says, Utkramantam stitam vapi bhunjanam va gunanvitam vimudha nanu pashyanti jnana chakshushaha. Jnana chakshu, the eye of wisdom. So it is the yogi who possesses the eye of wisdom who is able to go to that particular level of the Jivatma. Okay, so this is something which should reverberate in your mind. Please remember, life is a journey and it has to come to an end. We are all part of the process, please remember. But the Gita declares, Na jayate mriyate va kadachin, nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuja, ajo nityah shashvatoyam purano, na hanyate hanyamane sharire. It's a bold declaration. 5,000 years back it was declared, and we have a history of another 15,000 years to support it. Look at the time span, but this is something which should, be reverberating within us every time and always. There could be disease, there could be problems. Najayate. Look at the soul is never born, it never dies. It cannot be that he was not there. The self or the Jivatman is virtually eternal. It is without death, right? You are being brought, your consciousness is being expanded to eternity, and that is na jayate mriyate va kadachin. Who kills? Who is killed? Where is war? What is your problem, Arjuna? Shloka 220, 225. He says, come out of that mess. This war is, what you call at the superficial level. But at the core, this is something which you should keep in mind. And then, it is the soul which is imperishable. The body can die, but not the soul. Right? Vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya, navani grannhati naroparani, tatha sharirani vihaya jirnan, anyani sanyati navani dehi. Boss, I don't want to stay in this body. Enough. This body is useless now. पुराना कपड़ा जैसे आप फेंक देते हो, वैसे वो आत्मा उस शरीर का त्याग करती है. Could there be a better solace, for all this process of life and death which you see in the world? Sometimes, even the best, the most, sturdiest and the mightiest of the people become afraid. Kasab, when he saw death staring in his face. But when you killed so many people, at that time you never thought that you are perpetrating a crime. जब तुम्हारे सामने तुम्हारी मृत्यु दिखती है, भगत सिंह वगैरह क्या बोलते थे, this is the shloka which they chanted, Vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya. At the age of 23, young Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru, they were, put on the gallows. They went to the gallows with this in their mind, Vasansi jirnani. You can't kill me, boss, and I will live forever. Vasansi jirnani. They took solace from this. And then Nanam Chindanti Shastrani. All these are eternal words. I'm telling you, the shlokas in the uska vajan bahut hai. Please, you can spend some time later on that. This is the Jivatman. This is the self. It cannot be killed. It cannot be destroyed. Bodies will come and go. The superficial changes will be there. They are like the waves on the ocean. The depth of the ocean is something which is very difficult to grasp. So obviously, there should be a relationship between the Jivatman and the Paramatman. And that also is discussed. So the Jivatman is not different from me. It is a part and parcel of mind. That is how he tries to build up into it. And then he takes you further. He has given a beautiful example. Whatever forms are produced, O Panteya, in all the wombs whatsoever, the great Brahma or the Mula Prakriti is their womb, and I am the seed-giving father. But what he says, Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiya tasam brahma mahadyoni aham brida prajapita mama yonir mahad brahma. The seed is also mine and the womb is also mine, but I am there everywhere. So it is basically trying to bring the three together in this particular form. सब उसी का है. Mahat is also his, the Para Prakriti is also his, the Apara Prakriti is also his, and he is the eternal witness. Now this is the situation where we are. Okay, so Maya. How many faces do you see? In the first picture, पहले picture में तीन दिख रहे हैं ना शायद. You can see a small, you can see a young maiden पीछे की तरफ से, then you can see an old woman, and ये जो mustache है, this may represent an old man, right? Here, is it a flower or a maiden? You can see a maiden also in that. You can also see a flower, no? Stairs going up or coming down? Can you see both? Can you see the stairs going up?
Yes.
Right. इसको hide कर लीजिए. You see the stairs going up. अभी ये red को आप hide कर लीजिए. Right?
Yes, sir.
And then you see upstairs, second, third, fourth. Right? You see the yellow, hide the red. My question is, can you see both at the same time? Huh? How many cubes? 6 or 7? All of you have visualized 7?
7.
But there are 6 also. Now, my question is, when you are seeing 6 cubes, at that time you can't see 7. Either you see 7 or you see 6. You can't see both at the same time. Either you are in Asat or you are in Sat. It is the same thing. It is the same thing. Either you are looking at it as Sat or you are looking at it as Sat. आपको 6 और 7 दोनों एक साथ नहीं दिख सकते. You can say that I am reading the word liar. Right? Somebody will say, no boss, it's a face. Either a face or the word liar. Either you have the vases or you have the faces. This is a small idea of Maya. Maya is creating Asat out of Sat. Shankaracharya beautifully defines Maya. He says, he uses beautiful Sanskrit. The thing is, Sannapya Sannapyu Bhayatmikano, Bhinnapya Bhinnapyu Bhayatmikano, Sangapya Nangapyu Bhayatmikano, Mahadbhutanir Vachaniya Rupa. Maya को describe करना बहुत कठिन है. पूरा गेम उसी का है. Now you tell me, no, this is something, आप या तो 6 दिख रहे हैं या 7 दिख रहे हैं. Either you see it as Asat or you see it as Sat. The moment you see it as Sat, Asat is gone. You can't have Asat and also Sat, no. And that is Asatoma Satgamaya. The concept of Maya, I tried to, bring in some visuals before you. The concept of Maya is beautifully put. The whole of this creation is diluted by these objects evolved from the gunas, the 3 gunas, right? And that is why the word fails to cognize me, who is the immutable and the witness to all this, right? Verily, this divine illusion of mind made of gunas is extremely difficult to cross over. Mama Maya Duratyaya. It's not so simple. एखाद आदमी क्रॉस कर पाता है. And then you have the Jnana Yoga, the Bhakti Yoga for that. It's not so easy, no? So, Mama Maya Duratyaya, right? And then he says, Mameva ye prapadyante mayam esham tarantite. आप मेरे शरण आइए, with my blessings, you will be able to come out of that. Mere sharan aiye. Bhakti Yoga, entire Bhakti Yoga is that. Even Jnana Yoga, we have extremely good examples. Jnaneshwar, he is a Jnani. He has written the Jnaneshwari. Beautiful. It is the ultimate. He was a Dhyana Yogi also, a Karma Yogi also, a Bhakti Yoga also, and Dhyana Yogi also. Combined. Look at Adi Shankara. He lived till the age of 32. He, in 32 years, he travelled the entire of India, established the mathas. He was a Jnana Yogi. He has written, look at his hymns, the different, things that he has written. Beautiful. He was a Bhakti Yogi, Jnana Yogi, and, Karma Yogi combined. You have all these people. They don't belong to any sect. They are beyond that. Look at Vivekananda. He was a Jnana Yogi. His concept, beautiful. Vivekananda is ultimate on certain, all this thing which, comes up. It is, basically it was there, but he took it to the world. The Chicago conference, and from there he got invitations and he travelled the world. He went to Europe, he went to US, and he took Hinduism beyond the shores of India and all over the world. So this is something, which, again, the Yoga Maya. So, liberation from the Yoga Maya, right? This is moksha, so the concept of liberation, right? He discusses how by Jnana Yoga you can liberate yourself, by Karma Yoga you can liberate yourself. The wise, possessed of knowledge, having abandoned the fruits of their actions and freed from the fetters of birth, go to that state which is beyond all evil. Everywhere in the Gita you will find he is exhorting you. Come out of this mess. Come to me. Come to my place, the eternal abode. Get liberated out of this. So please remember, though it is difficult, what is the ultimate aim? Just think it over. We are all part of it. Nobody can escape the process of birth and death. You can at the most preserve a body which is dead, right? But you can't infuse life into it. Dead and gone. That's it. Let us accept it. But then, where is the eternal element? Discover that eternal element. So please remember, liberation. Now, the concept of liberation has been defined in different ways in the Bhagavad Gita. The idea, I have made it clear to you, right? Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, all these things are basically the paths to liberation. And you have chapter 12 talking about Bhakti Yoga, right? Chapter 3 talking about Karma Yoga, right? He has explained all the various paths. Chapter 6 exclusively on Dhyana Yoga, one full chapter. How you should go into meditation, what you should do. So this is something which is liberation. And liberation, the diagram is there, so that will make it clear. We are here. A small 5-foot body has been given to you. And then the forces inside, the mind says, ye chahiye, wo chahiye, falana chahiye, I want a car, I sell my Maruti, I want a Mercedes, I sell my Mercedes, I want a, what do you call, Ferrari, right? The dream is endless. I have a flat of 10 lakhs in Kanpur, I want a flat of 1 crore in Bombay, right? Then I want a flat in New York. The dreams are endless. Mind आपको बाहर churn out करता है, ये चाहिए, वो चाहिए, फलाना चाहिए, दिखाना चाहिए. So we are here, and we are playing in the world of asat, right? What is the world of asat? जो आज है, लेकिन कल नहीं रहेगा. Asat, the sat has been described in the Sanskrit scriptures as Trikala Badhitvam Sat. That which is beyond the Trikala, the past, the present and the future is Sat. Asat is that which is going to be, which was not there earlier, which is there now and which will not be there. तो फिर क्या बचा? मेरा फ्लैट है बंबई में, कल बंबई में बाढ़ आती है, भूकंप आता है, मेरा फ्लैट चला जाता है, राइट? गॉन. ये बॉडी जो है पहले नहीं था, अभी है, कल नहीं रहेगा, ये भी असत है. See, with the concept of asat, you can eliminate lot of things which we are trying to cling to. The mind chases. नहीं ये नहीं, यहाँ पे तकलीफ हो रहा है क्या, ठीक है, दूसरा एंजॉय करेंगे. कानपुर में प्रॉब्लम है क्या, तो कानपुर लखनऊ में लेंगे, लखनऊ में प्रॉब्लम है दिल्ली में लेंगे. So the asat is basically the egocentric world. The ego is here, which is represented by the body, and we spend our lifetime, not only this, but also the earlier lifetimes in that. Now what we have to do is reverse the process. From here, this is the world which is Maya, right? It is generated, it is superimposed on Sat. Come out of this, no? And then from here, once the ego is destroyed, then when the ego is annihilated, the subject-object duality vanishes, and then you move into the world of Sat. It is the ego, and when we move into the subsequent slides, you'll find. So what we need to do is, from this world of Asat, we need to invert ourselves into the world of Sat, right? Concept of liberation explained. Whatever best and simplest explanation which we can give, we are here. This is the world of make-believe. This is the world of phenomena. This is the world of Brahma. This is the world which is driving all of us, right? As long as we are here, there is no liberation. Birth, death, cycle chalta rehta hai. If you want to come out of this, you have to be here, the Sanatan Avyakta, or the Nirguna Brahma, or as he says, this is my eternal abode. So, the concept has been put here. And then, this is something which is a novel. It is the consciousness. This consciousness is existing in all the three states. I am giving a lecture here. This is the Jagrat Avastha. And please remember, in a cycle of 24 hours, we pass through all this. अगर मेरे को आपने 3 दिन सोने नहीं दिया, my entire body will go for a toss, right? I need sleep. Not only that, I also need a deep sleep. In deep sleep, where am I? No consciousness. In deep sleep, the only thing is a retrospect. Boss, क्या बढ़िया सोया. I enjoyed, relaxed. Next day morning, I am fresh. So, in a cycle of 24 hours, your consciousness is constantly what you call, flipping, from the Jagrat, the Swapna, the Sushupti. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. These are the three states of the consciousness, Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti, which we are all, encountering. We are probably not aware, we are not really alive to Swapna and Sushupti. The dimensions of Swapna and Sushupti are opened before you in the subsequent slides. Okay, so here, you have heard about Om, right? Om is supposed to be a very, very, very sublime mantra. Every time we were told Om, recite Om. Now this Om helps you to drill into your personality. What is your personality? The physical body, the astral body, the causal body. Barabar? The personality doesn't stop at the physical level, right? Physical level तो बहुत superficial है. It is only cosmetic, You may have a Madhubala or you may have an Aishwarya Rai. You may, they'll come and go, So what? You had, what you call the Rani Padminis, and you have Shah Jahan building a tomb for Mumtaz Mahal. They came and went away. Physical body तो आएगा जाएगा. उसका beauty क्या देखने का है? The real beauty is down below. There is a. At the individual level, it represents the waking state. Look how they are trying to integrate the Pinda and the Brahmanda. Okay. So now this is very interesting. A has the three matras A, Om, Ma, and then there is a dot Om. So the Om comprises of the entire cosmos symbolized. It symbolizes the entire cosmos, and here you have at the individual level you have the waking state, the physical body, the Annamaya Kosha. At the universal level you have the physical cosmos, which is the energy matter continuum, which is reflected by the word Virat or Vishwa. Then the Hiranyagarbha. These are all words which are constantly used in our Vedic literature. Hiranyagarbha samavartatagre bhutasya jatah patireka asi. The Hiranyagarbha, bringing you down at a still baser level. Right? Now this is the level of the dream state in the individual. Many times people say, some of your relative who is, dead and gone, he wants to contact you. I mean, I have read it, you must have also read it. Now, how does he contact you? He comes in your dreams, which means at the level of dreams, your astral body or the supple body is active. The physical body is gone, but the astral body, the astral body continues for him, no? And you are also able to touch base when you are in the dream state. So he is able to contact you. Now this is something which has to be explored. But the fact is that here you have the Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanmaya Kosha, all in this particular dimension. At the universal level, you have the universal prana, universal mind, universal intellect, all these things. And then you have the level of Ishvara, right? The Ishvara is the manifest, what you call, thing in the universe. The way I have the Jivatman, the Jeev, there is the Ishvara. So at the universal level, it is the Ishvara. At the individual level, it is the Jeev. So the deep sleep state, the causal body, Anandamaya Kosh, or at the universal level, it is called the Pradnya or the undifferentiated Mula Prakriti. So this is Ma. And then, most important, this is the Turiya. The dot, the Turiya has to be captured. So please remember, when you are reciting Om, you have to drill into your personality. आप जब Om बोलते हो, suppose all 50 people we start chanting Om, you can elongate the period. You take a deep breath and then you recite Om. I'll just do it before you, just to give an idea. If 50 people or 100 people recite Om, the amount of spiritual energy that is generated, you will find the calmness is there. People's minds, which were all, vacillating, has come down. when you recite Om, drill into your personality deeper and deeper. The Bhagavad Gita in chapter 8 says, read it. When the yogi realizes that the time to exit from the body has come, he withdraws his senses. All the senses have been withdrawn in the mind. The mind is focused in the Bhumadhya, and then he starts reciting Om. That is, ICU में ventilator लगा हुआ है, वो भी एक death होता है. और ये भी एक death का concept which is given by the Bhagavad Gita. He says, you have already practiced Om the whole of your life. Now just meditate, start reciting Om, and then when you are fully focused here and Om is there churning in your consciousness throughout, at that time if you make an exit, you land in the supreme reality. My God, the Om has the capacity to catapult you from the Asat to the Sat. Now that is there in the Gita. I have not brought there, but then the fact is, Om is a very, very powerful mantra, and you can make use of this to bore into your personality. Now this is something, you have the Pinda and the Brahmanda, right? On this side is the Brahmanda. You have the Kshara Purush or the Apara Prakriti or the primordial nature. The first evolute, the first modification is the universal Ahankara, then the universal intellect, then the universal mind, then the universal Prana, and then the energy matter continuum which you understand, the physical body, right? It's basically energy or matter. So, and here you have the Para Prakriti. These are the Pinda, what you call, the thing which is available in the Pinda, right? Now what we do? We can relate with this. I need oxygen, I need food, I need water. My body is in equilibrium with the outside world. My physical body, if I am deprived of food, I am deprived of water, I am deprived of oxygen, I will die, right? My body is in equilibrium with the physical world. At this level, it is easy to understand. It can be explained. Let us climb one level further. एक डेड बॉडी में प्राण निकल गया, हम बोलते हैं ना प्राण निकल गए इसके, है ना? There is a prana inside the body. The body looks active, like blooming, budding, है ना? There is also a universal prana. The individual prana is in perfect equilibrium with the universal prana. All the processes in our body are programmed and timed. The heart beats, there is a sleeping and waking cycle. You can call it the circadian rhythm. The fact is, आपका पूरा का पूरा बॉडी जो है वो प्रोग्राम किया गया है, right? And similarly, there is a universal program there, no? Time is inside, time is outside. The body is flowing on time, right? Old age, you know, a young boy, kid, grown up, adult, right? Adolescence, adult, and then you have the old age. We are all going to go through that particular stage. There is a time dimension in our body, and there is a time dimension outside, right? Tomorrow, if I come here, it will be the same classroom, the same chairs, everything will be the same, right? But then will the class be the same? Will everything be the same? It can't be. You can't step into the same water twice. आप कानपुर में गंगा नदी में नहाने जाते हैं. Every day you go and take bath, right? But the water in which you took bath yesterday is not the water in which you are going to take bath today. There's a flow of time. You can't stop it. Time is something which is beyond our capacity. Prana, then mind, oh my God, most dangerous. Attachment, detachment. I hate you, right? Love, hatred, jealousy. ये बहुत तगड़ा player है. You see all those TV serials? Saas, Bahu, you know, people, you know, the villain is paid for what you call big villainish, no? And that is the role. Abhi you can say that, by God, हमको याद है, you know, Prana, or what you call, we had Lalita Pawar and all that. I happened to see Lalita Pawar in a good docile atmosphere, because I used to go and visit my friend, and I saw Lalita Pawar. Now my, you know, idea of Lalita Pawar was the dirty, what you call mother-in-law, my God. And when I saw her in a very, docile and I could not believe that she is Lalita Pawar. She is acting. She is playing a role, and for that she is, actually paid, no? So she's got to live a role. My God, ये जो है ना, ये बहुत dangerous है, mind. So there is a universal mind and there is a individual mind, intellect. I don't agree with you. पूरा battle तो intellectual है ना. R.R. Joshi is interacting with what? मेरा body भूल जाइए, मेरा प्राण भूल जाइए, मेरा मन भूल जाइए. Intellectual level. My intellect is interacting with your intellect. ये बड़ा तगड़ा है. You have papers published at IIT Kanpur. Similarly, another paper is published elsewhere. और फिर चालू होता है. Who is the owner of that? Simultaneously, you had very big scientists coming across this. A scientist has already published the paper, and the credit goes to somebody else, right? Because he is a big man. Now, ये जो है intellectual. Now, at the level of the intellect, it's still more interesting. और सबसे dangerous तो अहंकार है. My God, the visual which I have brought before you. See, you are climbing up, and as you go up, you find, my God, ये तो और भी difficult होता जा रहा है ना? So please remember, whatever is inside and whatever is outside, it's related. Huh? In fact, when you go to that level, when the consciousness expands into eternity, you find कि मेरे को तो individual दिखता ही नहीं है. I don't see the individual mind. I don't see the individual body. I am only seeing the universal mind. I am only seeing the universal intellect. Now that is the level at which the Bhagavad Gita takes you. It says go on exploring, no? And then when you are able to clear out all this, what remains is that, right? So abhi ye jo hai, this is something which, look at the visuals. Individual mind in action. The mind is everywhere. It is being reflected, है ना? Affection, love. Problem क्या होता है? When you love somebody and that somebody does something which you don't like and then you hate him. It is the same emotion which gets converted into hatred, right? Now that can be dangerous. Bombay में हमारे यहाँ पे एक case हुआ where that particular thing led to a murder, right? And that particular murder is being investigated. Police had come in the papers. What happened was, a guy is in the Navy, right? And this girl, he finds this particular girl with somebody else. He comes, knocks the door, he kills the person, they cut his body into umpteen number of pieces and they throw it into the jungle, right? And then later on the mystery is discovered. Now that particular Navy guy is behind bars, okay? And that girl has been arrested and she's also behind bars. Now emotions, सारा गेम तो emotions का ही है ना, बाकी तो वो तो deadwood है ना. The dead body can't do anything. The real play starts here. Look how the emotions are being expressed. Even the child has emotions. Even the mother-child relationship. The animals also beautifully express it. And those of you, आपके IIT तो मैंने देखा मोर भी है. You see the animal world. You see the birds. They are also expressing their emotions, right? So the mind. Can this be something reflecting the universal mind? Jupiter and the moons of Jupiter, right? कुछ दिख रहा है ना, attachment. Look at the distances. Even the moon is very far away from the earth. The sun, the solar system you have seen. Could it be the mind, universal mind playing? Question to you. Gravity is still eluding the unified field theory. Gravitons में convert करने की बात चल रही है. Gravity is the most deceptive. Why is it deceptive? Because आप उसको वो earth, water, fire, air में लाना चाहते हो. थोड़ा और आगे बढ़ो ना. मन तक चले जाओ, फिर देखो मजा. Probably you will get the answer. I'm just trying to tickle your brain. But look at that. Gravity, right? This is something which is difficult to define. Okay. Now the universe, the galaxies, right? The planets, everything is bound. तो आपने जैसे I have a friend. We are comrades. We have an attachment. We, camaraderie, fights, right? Intellect in action. Beautiful, है ना? But then there is the brain. the brain work of somebody, no? Okay, you stop here. भाई इतना बढ़िया ब्रिज बनाया, multiple, so many things and lanes and all that. Why do you want to say that this does not require any design? So many galaxies, right? The neutron stars, the what you call stars being born and dying. Even the sun has a life, right? You have so many galaxies coming up. You are saying there is a dark matter, there is a dark energy. It is definitely very difficult to define because your mathematical principles are failing there. Your concepts cannot go beyond that. See, there are always limitations because you are trying to know it as an object, and that is something which is creating all the problems. Now, the monkey jumps from one tree to the other, right? जो बंदर का बच्चा है, it knows instinctively how to cling to the mother, right? ये intelligence उसमें कैसे आया? How is it designed? Look at the other way around. The cat. क्या मजाल है कि दांत का एक खरोच भी उसकी गर्दन पे लग जाए. बिल्ली जो है बोलती है कि 9 घर में अपने बच्चों को घुमाती है, and she carries it like this. And if a cat bites, my God, it could be dangerous. The cat family is something, this is the most docile creature. But when you see the tigers, and when you see the lions, and when you see the leopards, my God, they are ferocious. But how they carry their, what you call, the bond, this is the way. And कुछ नहीं होता है, दांत नहीं लगता उसको. How is it done? Do you think that this particular design is just there in the genes? How can you say that Miller performed an experiment and the amino acids were generated, and because of the amino acids then you have the, you have the entire, what you call, the cells and the complex world, and then you have the intelligent human beings, just like that? It can't be accident. It can't be. Simply it can't be. Let us be humble and accept. Let us accept that yes, there is a universal intellect which is behind all this. And that particular intellect, there and my intellect are the same story. Simple, no? I am not different from that. जो अंदर है वही बाहर है. Intellectual level पे आप इसको अगर understand करना चाहते हैं, अभी अहंकार में आइए. Even Lord Krishna, right? भीष्म on the 10th day, दुर्योधन बोला what? आपके जैसे महारथी जो है वो हमारे सेना के सेनापति हैं, and we are losing. How is it possible? With a person like you leading the armies, this is not accepted, right? बहुत चाबी मारा. भीष्म बोला tomorrow either I will survive or the Pandav सेना will survive. अरे बाप रे, do or die battle. अभी भीष्म ने जब ये बोल दिया तो फिर this is what happened. Even Lord Krishna, who had taken a vow that he will not take up arms, उसने बोला था कि मैं शस्त्र नहीं उठाऊंगा. When Bhishma became invincible, शाम तक यह हालत होगी कि कोई उनके सामने टिक नहीं पा रहा है. Lord Krishna had to break his vow. He climbed down from the chariot, picked up a wheel which was lying there, and ran to kill Bhishma. Bhishma said, that is great. अभी अगर तुम मुझे मारते हो तो इससे अच्छा और क्या होगा? मरना ही है तो फिर तुम्हारे हाथ से मरते हैं. Look at the scene. Lord Krishna also, I am different from you. I will kill you. You. Ahankara. The intellect is something, the what you call ego principle is something which is the principle of differentiation. The differentiation could be galaxies. It could be, planets arising out of the stars. It could be different individuals, right? It is the principle of differentiation. My God, better examples, World War II. Hiroshima, right? Japan surrendered. 5 lakh log मर गए. The third World War can be more dangerous, right? I will kill you. I will destroy you. Today America is fighting wars everywhere. Iraq, the Iraq war has cost them $850 billion. Afghanistan war could not be less than $1,000 billion. And then you prop up Hamid Karzai, and then you say, okay, Hamid Karzai is going to be the ruler of Afghanistan. Where is Afghanistan, boss? 2/3 of Afghanistan is already, run by Taliban. Hamid Karzai is only holding on to 1/3, and then you are already thinking of exiting Afghanistan. You are fighting bloody wars for what? And destroying. You are using cruise missiles and daisy cutter bombs to destroy property in Afghanistan. वो property क्या है? Ground plus one buildings. Daisy cutter bombs and cruise missiles fired from their warships in the Persian Gulf. $3 million का एक क्रूज मिसाइल आप चला रहे हो, डिस्ट्रॉय करने के लिए क्या है? I will destroy you. अहंकारा. We are just here to analyze the process. Who is the spirit behind that ahankara? Either it could be Osama or Obama. One has to die. Fine. Ahankara. Ultimately क्या है? अहंकार ही ना. दोनों तरफ अहंकार ही है. See, whether it is the third world or whether it is Asia, सब जगह आप देखिए, World War II ended with this, and Japan took a vow that they will never build a nuclear bomb. अभी छोटा सा नॉर्थ कोरिया, कैन यू रीड द मैप ऑफ नॉर्थ कोरिया? इट्स वेरी स्मॉल. बोलता है न्यूक्लियर बॉम्ब चलाऊंगा, आई विल यूज न्यूक्लियर वेपन्स अगेंस्ट द यूएस. देखो इतना छोटा सा कंट्री. अहंकारा. सो दिस इज समथिंग विच इज द ईगो प्रिंसिपल. दिस इज द रियल कल्प्रिट. दिस इज द रियल कल्प्रिट. The principle of separation and differentiation. We live our body-centric individual lives mounted on a time machine. We have our joys, sorrows. It drives us. Create wealth. बढ़ाओ. Fourth list में number 5 पे था, अभी number 2 पे जाओ, फिर number 1 पे जाओ. चलाता रहता है, churning again and again, going on and on. My God, it never stops. The ego principle. And then it is the ego along with its retinue of intellect, mind, prana, physical body, which limits and conditions and infatuates the Jivatman to the Asat. The Jivatman is sitting pillion rider. अभी मैं pillion rider बैठा हूँ, right? खांडेकर साहब की गाड़ी पे जहाँ पे लेके जाएंगे वहाँ पे जाना पड़ेगा ना. I am a pillion rider, but I don't have any choice. अहंकारा ड्राइव कर रहा है, घुमा रहा है आपको दुनिया में, दुनियादारी में. आप pillion नीचे उतरिए ना, बस खत्म. What is required is this particular equation, that the asat is basically a creation and these are the physical bodies. Now from the individual level, the jivatman, the causal body, astral body, we move into a wider dimension of the kshetrajna. There is only one kshetrajna. You don't have multiple souls. You don't have multiple jivas. You have only one eternal Atman. See, there cannot be two infinities. You have seen the definition of the Atman, the self, and the universal self. If there are two infinities, they will limit each other, then they cannot be infinities. Very simple. So please remember, the Jivatman cannot be many. There is only one Kshetrajna, and what you call chapter 13 of the Bhagavad Gita deals elaborately with the Kshetra and the Kshetrajna. The Kshetra can be umpteen, right? But the Kshetrajna is only one. The Jiva Bhuta, whatever is the driving force, is only one, right? So this is something which is there, and then self-realization. When the ego is destroyed, difficult, huh? Very difficult. To destroy the ego is the real test. Arey boss, I am worth $5,000 billion, and you tell me to write off my wealth and say, boss, forget it, nikal jao. Difficult. You have built all this. You have created all this. You have created a world, and then suddenly I tell you to boss, इसको भूल जाओ. But then look at it the other way. ये तो वैसे भी छूटने वाला है ना. When the last moment of your life comes, ये तो वैसे भी छूटने वाला है. मैं आपको यही बोल रहा हूँ कि आप इसके साथ attach मत हो. You have created it, fine. You have played your role, fine. But that is part of your role, no? Play it effectively, but then don't get attached to it. It is part of your role, play it, do it very well. That is what Krishna says. Karma जो है, if the moment you put end result क्या है, I want to pass the exam at any cost, I need to get 99% percentile. Tension आता है, नहीं हुआ, पढ़ाई नहीं कर पा रहा है, रात दिन जाग रहा है. See, the process is basically to do a karma. Come out of the tension part. The tension is because of the ownership. You, the doership. Come out of doership. Do the karma in a very good manner. Whatever I will do, if I am studying, I will do it very well. If I am giving a lecture, मेरे को टेंशन आ रहा है, क्यों? मेरा lecture अच्छा होगा कि नहीं? आप मेरे को appreciate करेंगे कि नहीं? Whether the people will like it or not, Why should I carry that? My job is to do a karma. I am doing my karma diligently and with all due humility, and that is something which I should enjoy. Do your karma. The moment you are doing the karma, mam anusmara yudhyacha, you are doing karma for his sake, and then you see the beauty of the karma because the attachment is gone. The asat is giving you the false identity. It is yours, mine, mera, right? वो जो है, that is creating that chimera, that mirage. So when the ego is destroyed, the separate identity of the jivatman or the individual self vanishes like a maya. It was there, it was a mirage. With asat vanishes, and then what remains is the universal self, one universal all-pervading eternal existence. So the individual self is equal to the universal self is equal to the self of all. काश दुनिया में ये सब अगर सब लोग देख पाते तो फिर ना वर्ल्ड वॉर 1 होता, ना वर्ल्ड वॉर 2 होता, ना हिटलर होता, ना नेपोलियन होता. Those individual ambitions which drive people, right? And then they create armies, they fight wars, and then they die. The world has seen destruction. Mahabharat, massive destruction. Nobody wants that, but then that is something which is happening. One principle which is at the root cause of all that is ahankara, right? And that will continue. आप अगर माया से बाहर निकल गए इतना मतलब बाकी लोग माया से बाहर निकलेंगे ऐसा नहीं. They'll continue to be in that. The paths to liberation. These are the 4 paths.
Time is.
Shall we close it?
Or you have something more?
No, but these are the 4 paths to liberation. I have slides on what you call each of them, but let us not go in detail in that. If the karma yoga, example मैं दे रहा हूँ. Devoted each to his own duty, man attains perfection. How? Engaged in his own duty, he attains perfection. Listen, from whom all beings arise, by whom all this is pervaded, worshipping him with one's duty, man attains perfection. Karma yoga. मैं काम कर रहा हूँ किसके लिए? For that supreme reality. I would like to do my karma excellent. It is the perfection. The perfection is doing the karma well. Absolutely. But then don't carry the ownership. The doership आप निकाल दीजिए. You have all the 4 paths, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, and all that, defined. And then the Gita beautifully summarizes. This is the dhyana yoga, the chitta. The mind, the chitta comprises of the mind, the ego, and the intellect. The chitta is constantly here. The senses are pulling you into the outside world. Stop the chitta for some time. Move in the other direction, as I told you, and then by any of the methods or a combination of the methods, move into the core of your personality, right? From the asat to the sat. The Gita also unifies the bhakti, jnana, and karma and all that. It's a grand unification. See, no path is superior. All paths can be combined. It's basically your choice. You are all intellectuals. You would like to go the way of jnana yoga. Fine, go by the way of jnana yoga. You are basically very emotional. You can go by bhakti yoga. We need to combine all that, and that can be done. And then the activity reorientation. Before self-realization, these are your priorities, right? What are the activities you perform? Wealth creation, for pleasure, enjoyment, right? Family, friends. और जब आपका when you are attaining that, do it everything as an offering to the God. That's all. आप spiritual evolution जो है उसमें the attitude has changed. I am doing, but the ownership is his. He is the boss. He is the ultimate owner of the universe. I am doing it for him. With that in mind, liberation is assured, because that is something which was required. To sum up, this is what the Gita says, right? And Gita is basically Yoga Shastra. Every chapter says Yoga Shastre, right? What is the yoga? The unity between the Jivatman and the Paramatman. So it is basically Yoga Shastra, and the summary is the movement from the Asat to Sat and the journey back home, right? These are the concepts summarized. You have the supreme reality, you have the Maya, you have the Jivatman, and then you also have the self-realization. And the spiritual journey ends when the asat, right, that is the mirage of the separate identity of the jiva goes. Once you detach yourself from the ego, you don't see multiplicity. You don't see I, you. मैं आपसे बात कर रहा हूँ. When the ego is there, I am different, you are different. But when the ego is gone, at that level, it's all one. Right? So that is the level which you need to touch. And beautifully summarized by Adi Shankaracharya, Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. Right? Brahman is the sole reality, Jagat is a mirage, and the Jiv and the Brahman are one. So there is only one universal reality. Remember, there cannot be two infinities. There can be only one infinite eternal substance. If I am saying that the Atman is also eternal, the Atman is also what you call, omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, and I am also saying that the universal self is also that, it means that both are the same. That's it. So he simply says that Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. And then Vivekananda has brought certain beautiful thoughts. I mean, there cannot be anybody better than him. The universe as we know and think, it does not exist. The unchangeable Brahman has not changed, and the whole of this universe is mere appearance and not reality. This idea of parts and little beings and differentiations is only apparent, not the nature of the thing itself. Time, space and causation make the differentiation, which is a deception or a mirage. Again, beautifully said, we are all one. The cause of evil is the perception of duality. In the lowest worm as well as the highest human being, the same divine nature is present. Love everyone as your own self, because the whole universe is one. The universal message. And then as soon as I begin to feel that I am separate from the universe, that is an individual personalized self, different from all other beings, then comes fear, misery, hatred, jealousy, struggle and all other evils. When this idea is got rid of, all these vanish. Vivekananda has summed it up beautifully. Universal brotherhood. Concepts are evolving. He says we are all part of the same thing. Why fight? Why not? See, he's in those poor people, the poor struggling people. Imagine the situation in India. 65% of the people in India, right, are struggling for the basic means of livelihood. Right? There are 45 crore people below poverty line. The process is huge. We are probably lucky few who are, blessed. We have the best of education. But then are they not our brothers? Are they not part of this own nation, our own nation? There is a social message, the message of universal brotherhood which he gives. Right? And when you have realized that, he doesn't want you to go and sit in the Himalayas and meditate. No, he says social service kariye. Sabko help kariye. And in India, we have a long way to go. The message of universal brotherhood, right? When a man reaches this highest goal, when he sees neither man or woman, neither sect nor creed, nor color nor birth, nor any of these differentiations, but goes beyond and finds that divinity, which is the real being behind every human being, then alone he has reached universal brotherhood, right? And then the views on liberation, we have already discussed it on the same lines. He has said, morality. The Gita preaches that one should look upon all beings with the same eye. For the Lord is one and the same to all. And the Lord, right, is pure. Therefore, those who have this sameness for all and are pure are said to be the living God. Where is the caste system? Where is the differentiation? No. The Gita says guna karma shah. See, I have created this on the basis of the guna karma, right? So please remember, it is basically a differentiation which has been created, but there cannot be any difference between one individual and the other. We are part of a universal brotherhood, and that is what he says. So I cannot damage you. If I am damaging you, if I am destroying you, if I am trying to steal something from you, I am damaging a part of my own self. If I am destroying somebody else, I am destroying a part of my own self. Beautifully said, let us work for that knowledge which will bring the feeling of sameness towards all mankind. The God in you is the God in all. And if you have known this, you have, and if you have not known this, you have known nothing. It is all one. Every being is the temple of the Most High. If you can see that, good. If not, spirituality has not come to you. Vivekananda was outspoken. He never minced words. When there was a famine going on in Bengal, he had the courage to say, lock all your temples. उधर आप घी के दिए जला रहे हो और इधर आदमी भूखा मर रहा है. No, it's not done. God is here. This is service to humanity, is service to God. That is Vivekananda. Very clear concepts. If you have reached that level, it should show in your deeds. And that is what he meant. And this is something which he summarized. The same concept of Maya, he brought it. And so long as the dream that you are a Jivatman, right, and separated from the Jagat exists, you are bound to see yourself as born and dying. Come out of the mirage. Come out of the dream. Liberation from the cycle of birth and death comes only when you realize that your limited individual self is one with the universal self, and the very thing which you see as Jagat will become your own self. Alag hai kya? My consciousness is expanded into eternity. It is everything mine. I am everywhere. फिर that is liberation, no? अभी बचा क्या? कहाँ जाएंगे? यहाँ से और कहीं जाने का सवाल ही नहीं. I am everywhere. And that is something where the Gita takes you. This is the goal according to Swami Vivekananda. Beautifully said, the sum and substance of whatever we have been discussing. In this world of many, he who sees the one. In this ever-changing world, he who sees him, who never changes, as the soul of his own soul, as his own self, he is free, he is blessed, and he has reached the goal. Therefore, know that thou art he. Thou art the God of the universe. Dimensions are limitless. That is liberation. And that is the message of the Bhagavad Gita. Look at the levels where you can go. That is something which is the birthright of all of us. आपको कोई उससे deprive नहीं कर सकता. Nobody can snatch that particular thing from you, because that is tat tvam asi. You are that. So this is beautifully summarized by Swami Vivekananda. This is the goal of the Bhagavad Gita. It's a what you call difficult topic. I think I have been able to share some ideas and views with you.
Well, there are some questions.
Yeah.
Everywhere, as you mentioned in Upanishads, even in Srimad Bhagavatam, the conclusion is that thou art me.
Tattvamasi Shveta Keto. Yeah.
You are me. There is no difference between the soul and the super soul. Even Adi Shankaracharya says the same thing. You find the same thing in Bhagavad Gita also. But does it, in any case, in Bhagavad Gita, is it mentioned that the personification of that super soul into Krishna?
Yeah. In the chapter 4, Krishna says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam sujamyam. We have the concept of incarnation. It is the Yoga Maya. The Yoga Maya, but he comes within the dimensions of the Yoga Maya. See, let me tell you, when he becomes incarnate, he cannot change the rules. He is again bound by the rules, right? Lord Krishna also had to go through the challenges of life. Agar aap Bhagavad padhenge, the Kurukula was destroyed, even the Yadukula was also destroyed. The last chapter of the Bhagavad, he tells Uddhav, now go to the Badrikashram, retire. You will not be able to tolerate the destruction which is now going to take place here. The Yadukula was also destroyed. The realities of life are very difficult. And the entire Bhagavad is told by Shukdeva to Parikshit, who has only 7 days to live. Look at the reality. He is dying after 7 days. And before that, he would like to achieve a state where he is not affected by death and destruction. Let me tell you, these are the ground realities of life. And we are there. So Avtara is basically to set right the order, which has, gone haywire. When Adharma, right, goes beyond control. See, the thing is, who will kill that person? He says, I am the most powerful, right? The Axis powers had Hitlers and Mussolinis, and Japan also entered, right? Abhi isko kaise destroy karenge? One strategic mistake by Japan, they bombed Pearl Harbor, and then America was not prepared to enter into the war. America entered into war. You always get somebody. अगर रावण है तो राम भी है, right? Somebody has to be there to destroy it. What he says is, I enter into the system, I correct it, and then withdraw. That's it. My job is to correct the system. The system is such. भाई ego तो बढ़ने वाला है यार. अगर मेरा नहीं बढ़ेगा तो किसी और का बढ़ेगा. See, आप देखिए प्रोसेस जो है ना, the ego is driving the whole thing, right? The ego is something. अगर आप बोले नहीं North Korea should not fight with South Korea, right? And we go as a delegation. अरे बाबा थोड़ा गीता पढ़ो, थोड़ा ये समझाओ. You mean to say that King John Om वगैरह will listen to you, will put you behind bars. मेरे को सिखाता है. Problem क्या है? आज सीरिया में every day 200-300 people are dying. Why? Because there is the government forces and there is the rebel forces. Ego everywhere. It is the fight between people fighting with countries, fighting with each other. एक जमाने में Alexander created a huge empire. Where is his empire? Dead and gone. 400, 500, 1000 साल के बाद ये क्या होने वाला है और क्या रहने वाला है किसको मालूम? See, the ego continues to fool around with us. So please remember, when the order becomes, out of control, goes out of control, then he comes to the dharma.
So you showed that a sort of a pictorial wherein which we are moving up from normal prakriti, then mind, then intellect, ego, everything, and beyond that we become all unified. So is it really possible that all the human beings that they reach that stage and live in unison with each other?
It's your birthright. You are already that. It's a process of self-discovery, boss. See,
I mean to say,
I am dreaming, right? What all these shastras are telling to tell you, come out of the dream. No, आपने देखा ना mirage, माया आपने देखा. See, either I am dreaming or I am awake, right? The moment you wake up, I am, मेरे को एक सांप मेरे छाती पे लौट रहा है, right? और a tiger is going to pounce on me. Perspiration होता है, मैं डर जाता हूँ. I have all the emotions, and then suddenly I wake up. My God, बच गया. Then my wife says, or अरे बाबा तुम क्या कर रहे थे यार? मतलब सपने में ये सब क्या हो रहा था? The emotions are all real. So we are in that. Either you are dreaming or you are awake. Once you move into the sat, all this asat vanishes. I mean, अभी जो मैंने आपको examples दिए, ego, जरूरत है क्या? If North Korea and South Korea sit together and USA sit together, war नहीं होगा. But they will not sit together. Ego, I'll fight with you. छोड़ूंगा नहीं. So please remember, क्या है मालूम क्या? ये जो है ना, that is creating the differentiation, and that is the reason. As long as that whole thing continues, the process will go on. आपको it's a message to the individual कि boss you realize and आप liberate हो जाइए. Please remember, liberation cannot be a mass process. आप सारे जग के सारे लोगों को liberate नहीं कर सकते हो. Vivekananda can talk of liberation, right? Shankaracharya can talk of liberation, but then look at their lives. At the age of 32, Shankaracharya retired into the Himalayas, and he was at Kedarnath. And then he and his God, that's all. उसके बाद फिर आप देखेंगे, you will not find them around. They simply retire, and the last closing. ज्ञानेश्वर महाराज हमारे यहाँ पुणे में, he took life samadhi. ज्ञानेश्वरी लिखने के बाद, that's all. Finished. They decide that no birth after this. Very clear concepts. Now, if that clarity is there, अगर है तो फिर आगे बढ़ सकते हैं. I am telling you, you don't have to, you climb up one by one and then you enjoy. जैसे मैंने आपको बोला, look at the mind, how it plays. Then you understand, अरे ये तो mind, ये मन का खेल है यार. मैं इससे बाहर निकलता हूँ. ये बुद्धि का खेल है, intellect. See, I'll tell you, intellectually people can fight deadly wars. I don't agree with you. My God. You have, people fighting because they don't agree. Intellectual fight चल रहा है. The fight of the ego, the fight of the mind. So please remember, ये सब चलता रहेगा. But what you understand, उधर भी mind है, इधर भी mind है, right? उधर भी body है, इधर भी body है, उधर भी intellect है, इधर भी intellect है. Game चलने दो ना. भाई आपका TV serial में, I find people, अरे बाप रे अभी कल क्या होने वाला है? Because आज का जो episode देखने के बाद ना, see, I am enthused to कल क्या होने वाला है? अरे वो game चल रहा है यार. Why are you getting so much attached to that? Let it continue, no? कल क्या होने वाला है? I am keyed up. No need, no. I identify with the Bahu. I what you call fight. I feel that Lalita Pawar is the worst mother-in-law. कोई जरूरत नहीं है ना. She is playing her role, no. पैसा मिलता है उसके लिए. So आप process के साथ identify मत होइए. Just be a witness to the process and let it go on. It's part of your birthright. It's your birthright. Universal self is there within you. The individual self and the universal self are not different. You just cut off from the ego. जरा देखिए आप मजा लेके फिर आपको पता चलेगा तो गेम चलते ही रहेगा. नॉर्थ कोरिया विल फाइट साउथ कोरिया चलता रहेगा. वो चलने दीजिए. Let it go on. So वो the whole thing is the sum and substance is that the Sat was always there. It has not changed. The Asat is a superimposition on the Sat. Because the way you said, I mean, I tried to, in my simple manner, I tried to explain Maya. You can't see 7 cubes and 6 cubes at the same time. Either you are seeing 6 and then you suddenly have in the mind flips into a different mode and then it sees 7. 6 और 7 दोनों साथ में नहीं दिखते हैं. असत और सत दोनों साथ में नहीं रहता. It is basically the way that you look at it. It's the same thing happening. हाँ जी.
I think one quick question because
Yeah, sure.
Going a little longer.
अभी जैसे हम जानते हैं कि मेरा मन कैसा है, मन से चीज़ें सोचते हैं, समझते हैं, मतलब एनालिसिस तो बुद्धि से करते हैं, लेकिन हमारे अंदर एक आत्मन, जैसे आप बोल रहे हैं आत्मन भी है, तो हम मन को तो जानते हैं, बुद्धि को तो जानते हैं, लेकिन आत्मन को नहीं जानते, लेकिन जानेंगे भी तो मन से जानेंगे. तो इसका क्या मतलब है? कैसे मन तो हम नहीं है, ना बुद्धि हम तो आत्मा है, तो हम आत्मा को जानते हैं.
Good question. It's a good closing question. The Gita says, Sukshmyatu agraya buddhya. Your intellect has to be refined like the head of a pin. Sukshmyatu agraya buddhya. Like एक जो पिन होती है ना, उसका एग्जाम्पल दिया है. Like the head of a pin. इतना बुद्धि इतना सुपर फाइन होता है. See आप IIT में पढ़ रहे हो. You are trying to analyze the concepts. You know your mind is very active. See आपकी बुद्धि को और शार्पन करिए, और शार्पन करिए, और शार्पन करिए. आप अपने चेहरे को कैसे देखते हो? नहीं बता रहा हूँ. आप अपने चेहरे को कैसे देखते हो? आप एक आईना रखते हो and then you see your face. I can see your face. Can I see my face? If I want to see my face, I put a mirror before me. When you polish the buddhi, it becomes so fine, super fine, that it reflects the Atman. The Atman can be seen as a reflection in the buddhi. In a super fine buddhi, it becomes like a clean mirror. वहाँ पे फिर आपको आत्मा का दृष्टा होता है. You can see your Atman. It is, see, basically R.R. Joshi is seeing himself, no? मैं मेरी तरफ पलट के नहीं देख सकता हूँ. मेरे सामने आईना रखता हूँ तब मैं देखता हूँ. The buddhi, the buddhya tu sukshmya tu agraya buddhya. That is what they say. You are using the buddhi, you are using the mind. ये सारे के सारे इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स है. इसी इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स को यूज करना है अंदर पियर्स करने के लिए. ये अभी बाहर घूम रहा है. इसी फोर्स को यूटिलाइज करिए और अंदर घुसिए और फिर देखिए वो आत्मन भी इट विल शाइन इन इट्स फुल ग्लोरी बिकॉज़ दैट इज देयर इनसाइड. नो, उसी को यूज करना है और अंदर देखना है. आईना बनाना बुद्धि को बस.
I think let's thank the speaker once again. As we said in the very beginning that it's a very let's say it's rather complicated, rather comprehensive, and it's almost touches from one infinity to the other probably. And to summarize it in 2 hours is not easy, and he has maintained his sort of energy throughout. This particular workshop was originally planned for 3 hours with every day 1 hour. That was the original idea, but due to his let's say short time availability, he has travelled all the way from Bombay here just to give this talk actually. So let's thank him once again. And as a token of appreciation from Vivekananda Samiti, there is a small souvenir for you to take back.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. And of course we will be staying here for one more day. Tomorrow he is leaving, but in case you want to be in touch with him through me or directly his own email address, you can get it from me. So thank you very much.
I am thankful to Dr. Samir Kanpur, Dr. Joshi and the Vivekananda Samiti for inviting me here. It has been wonderful interacting with all of you. It's not just like me giving you something. No, it's all yours. It was there earlier. It's just an interaction. So that your ideas get churned up. But it's your birthright, please remember. You have every right and that is the goal. So be happy and live life with full zeal and zest. And never get bogged down by problems. Mam anusmara yudhyacha. The biggest problem was facing him, staring him in the face. And Krishna told him, don't waver. Pick up the Gandhi, play your role. This is what we need to do. That's all. Beautiful message which they have given. It's all there. I am only trying to put it before you in the way that I should do it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.